The place where I have been stranded, where my family has been stranded for centuries, isn't my home, right? That's not my home. I know the names of my family. I've been fortunate enough and did enough of the work for so many years to know the names of my family members dating back to, oh, I can get to the 1600s, right? Um, and so I know who my family were. I know where they came from, and I know what their goals were. You know, um, today what's happened is you know, you've got these leaders whose only real goal, their only real focus is temporary comfort, right? It's to get the bag today and find 15 minutes of shade from the plantation, do a little bit better than their brother, you know, be able to buy houses and cars. This is the goal, right? This is the goal has been whittled down for us as a people. And it happened naturally based on the dangling of golden carrots, right? So throughout our history here, as I say, my family, they were very clear relative to what they wanted. They wanted freedom. Furthermore, in my family, it's reflected that they all recognized that nobody could provide it for them. Nobody could give it to them. Nobody was going to give it to them. Their condition was beneficial to the nation, right? It was upon their backs, it was in their wombs, it was through their labor, through their suffering and misery that opportunity was produced, right? That the economy that could allow for the poor, tired, huddled masses of people to come from every European nation on the planet and come with nothing but shirts on their backs and find opportunity and find those things that they could not find and they did not have in their lands. They didn't, their journey to America wasn't a glorious one. It was filled with uncertainty, with peril, and most commonly, they would not make it from wherever they were coming from, right? This was a very dangerous journey. And what they were trying to escape was so perilous to them that they loaded their families on boats for a dream of this land called America, where everybody had a share, where everybody could find opportunity, right? The land of opportunity. Well, the opportunity that 100% of them came for. And even those that exist today, and as they come into this nation today, the opportunity that they come for was produced in the innocent wombs of my family, right? The opportunity that they come for was produced through misery and suffering of my family. And that occurred for 20 generations, right? Not skipping one single innocent human beings. When we talk about 20 generations, just in grandparents alone, the generation is defined as 20 years. Okay. Just in grandparents alone, 20 generations equals 1,048,576 people. That's my family. That's one person's family. 1,048,576 people equals 20 generations of my family, right? And those people all lived here. Not one of those people were skipped. Not one of those people did not live in an existence that was not abhorrent, right? Every single one of them. So, knowing my family history, having done the work, I know that the goal of each of them was freedom. So what happened was you had a forked tongue that came in and started injecting other words into the vernacular, into the population, and they started injecting alternatives to freedom, right? And so today you'll listen to these fools and they'll tell you our people died to vote. Let's dissect it a little bit, okay? I go to your house, steal someone from your home, right? I take them to my home and I put them in a little tiny box and I breed them and I sell their children off and I castrate their men and I breed them until they can no longer reproduce. And with each of their offspring, I use them to increase my fortune. I do that. And then based on the wealth that I've created, based on what it is that I was able to generate, right? I then built a political system where all men were created equal, right? Do you mean to tell me in your mind that that person that you put into that box, once you built your political system, you mean to tell me that they died for your vote that you made up in your system? Really? Really? But this is what our people say. This is what your leaders will say. Your politicians will say these things. They will say that our people died for a vote. No, a person who has been enslaved, a person who is in a concentration camp, a person who is a prisoner of war, a person who is held behind enemy lines doesn't want voice. They don't want equity, equality, inclusion, or diversity. That's not what they want. That person in the concentration camp wants freedom. That prisoner of war wants freedom. That person caught behind enemy lines wants freedom. 100% of my family going back 20 generations, that's 1,048,576 people wanted freedom, not a vote, not equality, not equity, not a voice, not diversity, not inclusion. They wanted to be free. They were full human beings. And so today, again, our conscious leaders, our conscious community, they try to, Malcolm X was, oh, I'll tell you. So there's so much that people don't know. They say his name, it's on a t-shirt, everybody, yeah, I know, everybody knows him, right? There's so much that really just is not known, right? It wasn't in the books, it wasn't in the movies. It's not known and it's not spoken about. And a lot of the people that were there and a lot of them are not here no more, right? Or their capacity, at the break, at the split, it was rough. It was rough through the communities. Everyone was affected, right? When from COINTELPRO, everyone was affected, from the Panthers to the Mau Mau to the Nation of Islam, everything. From the 60s into the 70s, it was ridiculous. But Malcolm was never, ever, ever a fan of the media. He did not like the media machine. None of them older brothers and sisters did. I remember my Uncle Herbie coming over and saying to my mother, because we were sitting there in front of the idiot box, and he said, Esther. He didn't say Esther. He called my mama F, and he had a list. He said F. You know what? And his son was sitting there, Vance. Vance is alive. Vance, I don't want to embarrass you. But he said F. You know what I would do? He said, I'd take a hatchet and chop that motherfucking TV up. Wouldn't I, Vance? And Vance said, yep, he did it. Right? Yep, he did it. None of them old cats, they didn't like this machine. They didn't like it at all. Malcolm only really changed based on Muhammad Ali. Based on Muhammad Ali converting to Islam and being faithful to it, it changed him a little bit. He recognized it as a necessary evil and something that we were going to have to deal with, right? And we were going to have to use. But let me tell you what's happening to your leaders. See, they got you. How many of them do you, how many of them do you see on a regular basis that address the people that say, don't forget to like me, like me, like me, right? Subscribe, subscribe. What's happening is they're using emotional methods. They're using the the platforms. They're using the algorithms in order to make their money. But see, here's the problem. If they ever told you a solution, the hustle would die, right? If they solved your problem, see, the doctor isn't trying to cure you. The doctor is trying to make money off of you. You understand? So what's happening is they're not trying to give you the solution, right? If they gave you the solution, I don't care which you mentioned, I don't care who, right? If they gave you the solution to the issue that has plagued 20 generations in your family, 1,048,576 individuals in your family, if they gave you the permanent solution, then their hustle would end. They would no longer be able to make money. See, everybody wants to see them. I'm the most requested speaker, right? Everybody wants to see them talk. All this pomp and circumstance. And guess what? What they're doing is they're using exactly what the slave master used to subjugate you. They're recognizing the fact that you're emotional. They're recognizing the fact that you are looking for an answer. You're looking for somebody to repeat the words that are in your heart. And they are. I'm not saying that some of these leaders are not speaking true words. They are speaking true words, but they do not culminate in a statement that says, and then we will no longer be dependent on white supremacy. Look, look, look. Don't you dare tell me. Don't you dare tell me that somebody is your enemy and yet you let that man provide your water every day. You're a liar. You're a liar. Don't you tell me that man is your enemy and yet you let him provide you your water every single day. And you take no hand to diminish your dependency on a man that used water to produce a genocide in a native people. And you know this. You know this. And yet, every day you wake up and you listen to the plans of your illustrious leaders and your doctors and all the rest of them, right? They got a financial literacy course, right? Your Dr. Moist, right? They got all of these different things that are going on, but at no point in their soliloquy does it end up, and then we will no longer be dependent on white people for water. At no point does any one of your leaders ever culminate in a permanent solution. So what you see is hustlers. That's what you got. Four corner hustlers. That's what they are. Your Benjamin Crumps, your Kamala. That's a hustler, man. Yeah, I don't know a hustler when you see one. See, on the plantation, right? Again, none of these roles that we're seeing, none of these roles that we're seeing are new roles. From the president and his cabinet, from the judicial and executive and legislative branches to the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, all of these structures are the exact same. They're no different. And the roles that existed on the plantations within us exist today within us. You understand? There was a man who was afforded more flamboyant clothing because he could speak good. He was afforded freedoms that the rest of the slaves did not have, right? And the reason that he was afforded that is because he was flamboyant, because he could speak well. He could capture the attention. See, and the problem is that they took very natural roles and they used them against us. You got to understand the griot was the most powerful of roles. The griot ties people to their history. The griot creates continuity, the storyteller. The storyteller connects you to more than land and space and time. The storyteller connects you to infinity, right? So the griot was a very important role. But so they took that charismatic individual, they took that flamboyant peacock that's ready to strut and show his feathers bright. They took that one and they elevated him into a position of authority over the rest. And he's the same one that would pick out your daughters to be raped by the overseer and to be raped by the slave master. He is the one that would parade your daughters in front of them for the raping, right? And he would be the one that would pick them out and tell you to calm down. This is what has to be done. This is how it's done, right? This is gonna benefit us all. You got to give this up. Everybody got to give something up. And he's a slick mouth, quick eye, useful too. And so I suggest to you that the roles that you see most commonly today are not new roles. They are roles that held back to the plantation and before that to our culture, and they have used them against us, right? So what we see in our conscious community is we went from Christian saying, speak, child, well, amen, take your time. You come on, man. Oh, everything. We heard it all, right? We went from that to doing the same damn thing to these peacocks that ain't nothing but plantation pimps, right? They're plantation pimps. They got no solution. Man, look, again, I'm not knocking the hustler. I'm telling you it's a hustle. That's all. I'm not, hey, yo, hustler got to do, he got to eat, right? That man got to eat. He fishing, huh? They fishing out there. And if they catch you in that net, yo, that's because you was a fish to be caught. Sorry. I'm sorry, right? If they catch you in that net, if that slick mouth and quick eye get you fucked up and get you to not realize that they don't have an end game, that they don't have a permanent solution, if you can't see that for your damn self, then that will be your progeny's problem. That will be a problem that will persist in your family and your generations into the future, not mine, not mine. I will have done my job. And that is to come and to alert you to the truth. Look, you ain't never heard and you never will hear in your life me say, like me, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm not here for validation. You ain't never gonna hear me say, subscribe. I'm not using the machine. I could do it. I could pay somebody to do all that shit, right? I'm not gonna do that. First of all, I don't feel that my words are so great that I should command your attention. I ain't nothing but a man. I'm a man, right? Fallible. It doesn't make sense. I don't need to command your attention. I don't think that I'm any greater than anybody else. So I'm not gonna, and I further don't need the validation of anybody, right? The things that I say, I stand alone and say them. If I'm ready to go to war, that means I'm ready to go to war alone, if needs be, at any time, okay? So I'm not gonna do what your talkers do. You know why? Because again, when you distill what it is that they're doing, they have no goal to solve the problem. They do not want to be free of white supremacy and hatred. They want to be comfortable under it. And that's a very big distinction. They want to be comfortable under it. Don't make me name their names. Don't make me call them out. I'm not scared, but I'm not here to trash nobody. I'm just saying that's a hustler. That is a hustler, no question. He's trying to make money. Let me tell you something. You want to know why the majority of the movements we have had have failed? Most commonly, the contemporary movements. You know why they fail? You know, the problem is that, and we use this word support, right? Support. And in many cases, support from our perspective means posting about someone. This guy's great. The guy ain't great. That guy did it. Yo, none of us are great. I'm not a great guy. I'm Peter. That's what I am. I'm not great. Okay. So that's not support. That's this bullshit, right? That's not support. But what is support And I can say that I have lent mine. Everybody knows, everybody has seen. If somebody stepped up with an initiative, my money was the first to go into anything, right? I supported my brother with his school initiative. I've supported all these brothers, and I will continue to do so. And so we have called that support. But guess what? The very model that they're using is what ensures that they will never go further than what this system will allow them, right? They are being paid, right, by their efforts, by what they're doing. So one of your leaders is talking to you and telling you, yo, this is what we're going to do. So you're going to take your money and not pay your electric bill and send it to that leader, and that leader is going to go pay his electric bill. How did that do anything? On either side, white supremacy gains. How does that solve our problem? So if we should pay and donate to one of these individuals, yeah, it enriches them. That sister of Black Lives Matter, she bought a great big house in the mansion. I'm not hating on that. I'm not. I am saying it is not a model that will allow us to actually have a permanent solution. One person can't sit at the top getting paid, right? It doesn't work that way. You don't build a pyramid of money. Money is not the goal. I'm not anti-money. I'm not anti-money, right? What I am is anti-money is the end goal, because it's not. Money can't be the end goal. Money is just a tool to be able to get there. So again, when we launch the plans that you see in America, when you see those different things that your leaders speak about, they assume, and this is the critical point, they assume and take for granted that white supremacy will always be there. It assumes. So if you say, well, again, you know, I see all the buzz. I see, oh, HBCUs. Yeah, awesome. So the assumption is that for the 4 years that your child will be going to get their education, white supremacy is just going to be there. You're just going to have water from your enemy, right? You're just going to have food. There's supply chains. They're just always going to be there, right? They're just always going to be shelter and the utilities that keep you warm or cool you off. They're just always going to be there, right? They're almost like a god in your mind. You simply count on them, and your leaders go past essential needs to point at something else as being relevant. You know how many times I'm in conversations and I'm saying, you know, I say the same things, right? I'm saying the same things. You know how many times people tell me, oh, yeah, well, you know what else we need? We need nationality. You need nationality? I said water, and your dumbass said nationality? Really? Are you? Yeah, man. That's that conscious woke bullshit, right? Too many fucking words. Y'all got too many fucking words for fighting men, right? What I'm speaking to is primal need. It transcends species. Those things that I speak to are the hierarchy of needs that transcend species, not these supercalifragilistic extra fucking conscious motherfuckers. No, not them. They need something else, right? They don't need the same thing that every species on the planet Earth needs. They don't need water before they die in 72 hours. They don't need food or shelter or healthcare. They don't need these things. So much so they will spend their days speaking about how much they're against white supremacy, but they're the #1 agents and proponents of it, since they have no solution to ever be free of it. Only thing that they're doing is making more money for white supremacy. You hear? I can open a business. I have a business. I have many businesses in America. Guess what? According to the IRS, I am destitute. I'm going through Kentucky Fried Chicken garbage barrels looking for bones with meat on them. You know why? Because I am not going to benefit white supremacy, not one more second of my life. And every single time that I can find a way to diminish my benefit to white supremacy, I'm going to take it. That's my job. My job is to diminish my dependency upon it and to stop being a benefit to it. So by the block. Who you buying it from? Who you paying taxes to? Who you getting the certificates from? Who are you buying insurance from? Every single step, and this is the trick, everything that you do that you think is a forward movement requires white supremacy to be strong. So you're inadvertently keeping it strong so that your dreams and your goals can come true. So if your child can go to school for 4 years and get a degree, that you have just made white supremacy that much stronger against your child. How do you don't understand this? How do you don't understand this? It must be solvent. It must be strong in order for your plans to succeed. So that means that your plans can never succeed unless your plans culminate in complete independence from that system. And listen to your conscious community. Listen, I can speak and have spoken for years and told you straight dope. Look, I don't know. Is there anybody on my friends list that doesn't know? I was on heroin in 5th grade. I smoked crack like I was Martin Sheen for years. I can't afford pride. What is that? What is pride? I can't afford pride. I am dependent upon another man for my water. I can't afford pride. I can't. I've seen myself fail before. Pride? No, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I can't afford it, not in my current condition. I can't call myself a full man in my dependent state. There is only one way for me to ever achieve true manhood, and that is to take full responsibility for everything associated with my life. I don't give a damn if when I try, 5 minutes later, I'm struck dead. At least I tried on my feet. At least I tried to be that man who is 100% responsible. Now, this nation reduces you to 3/5 of a human being. Yeah, I know where it came from, and I know the logic behind it as it relates to political representation. I understand that. But please understand, when I say 3/5 of a human being, you do not maintain your own water supply. You do not maintain full responsibility for your food. You do not maintain your own responsibility for your housing. You pay someone else to do it and provide it for you. You do not control your utilities. You do not control any of the essential needs required to keep you alive for a single week. As long as you are in that state, you cannot call yourself a man. You cannot. Okay? I'm not gonna look, ma, and I'm speaking of me. I'm not pointing fingers. I don't do that. I just told you I'm not proud. I can't be, right? I'm not pointing fingers at nobody. I'm telling you the reality of my existence and what I recognize as being true as a man. And I can't bow or shy away from that. See, I try shit on. Somebody says something to me, I don't just dismiss it. I put it on like a hat. I try it on. I see if it fits. And if it fits, then I make a change in order to be able to ensure that that damn thing don't fit again into the future, right? And so these truths that I speak to you, I apply to me first. Those things that you see me post, they're epiphanies that I have realized, okay? These are the things that I think about when you see my thoughts. And so, again, I suggest to you that your conscious community is your conscious community and your woke, right? All that right there, that's a trick. That is a predefined, rabbit trail that our people have just fallen right into. It was created for you. It was a natural result, right? Everything that you're doing, and we don't even connect the dots, right? Look back at the music that the white folk was doing back in the 60s. Look what they was doing. Now they was copying us, and everything goes in cycles. But the whole Wiccan, right? The whole Wiccan movement, right? You didn't see Bewitched come on the TV in the 60s. You didn't see them talking about crystals and incense and everything that we're doing right now, the chakras and all that shit. You didn't see that? See, that all happened, right? That's all. This is all cyclical. This has happened before. It happened before. Go back even further than that, to the Salem witch trials. It was based on a sister by the name of Tituba. Tituba was a West Indian slave who taught the little white children in Salem incantations. And them little white kids went out and started saying them. And the adults heard these incantations and started to call people witches. Now, the first person that they locked up was Tituba, right? But then what they began to do was they began to use the label witch as a control tool for white women. And so if the white woman was growing sage in her garden or rosemary, they called her a witch. And so they would control them through this method, yeah? And so again, these things are cyclical. They are cyclical. They happen over and over and over again. But the problem is that if we don't put the permanent solution in place, no one can. You understand? You know, I see my brothers and sisters, you know, I see, while I wish I didn't, or I wish I didn't have to see a timeline and everything that everybody thinks. But I see them. And I see common questions, right? You know, relative to our direction as a people, relative to kind of where our energy should be spent. I see it, and it's difficult for me because I see where we are, why we are. And I also recognize that we're being manipulated by outside force at every turn, at absolutely every turn. We're being manipulated completely. Our energy is being manipulated. Our thoughts are not our own. Look at everything that everybody is posting. Look at how many, go down your timeline and look how many comments are original thought, not driven by media, not driven by entertainers, not driven by what someone said, original thought. Look through your timeline. You'll spend days and weeks and months, and you will not see original thought. But guess what? The only thing that could ever change this planet, the only thing that has ever made any differences was the beautiful imagination of a child that was you. See, when you was a child, you had imagination, you dreamed, you didn't have limits. You didn't understand the limits of the world, right? You had the ability to reshape and remold absolutely everything, and this system crushed it and turned you into a usable freaking stock clerk. Welcome to Walmart, I love you, right? That's what this did. It crushed it. But the truth is that the answer remains exactly in that same place, and no one can bring us there. Absolutely no one. So I find it distressing that today in 2021, I could constantly repeat exactly the words and the direction of Malcolm X. And the people today would wear a Malcolm X shirt and they call themselves revolutionary. But listen to their reaction to the words that Malcolm X said, right? I couldn't repeat, and I do repeat, the words of Marcus Garvey on a regular basis. The average person hasn't read anything about Marcus Garvey, so they wouldn't know that, right? They wouldn't know that what I'm saying isn't new. It ain't, no, they wouldn't know this, right? And those words could be repeated today, and the conscious community and the woke speak loud. They play the dozens, huh? They can't listen, and they can't think beyond a sophomoric level, right? So again, I spoke to 3/5 of a human being. When you do not maintain any of the responsibility associated with your life and its expectancy into the future, when you count on somebody else to do that, it turns you into a primitive man, right? A caveman was more functionally useful. Do you know what matters? Do you know what matters? Not your ass, not how pretty you are, not any of that. You know what matters? Your utility. What can you do? And if you can do nothing, you are a waste of skin. Your utility is what counts, not how pretty you are, not how solvent you can make white supremacy, not how well you can make this abhorrent and abnormal condition seem normal, not how well you can adjust to this abhorrent scenario. That doesn't make you of any value. What makes you of value is your utility in a unit, in a group, in a team. Somebody must be able to filter water and have the equipment to be able to do so, or we will die. Someone must be able to hunt, clean, skin, and safely prepare foods, or we will die. Someone must be able to produce shelter, or we will die. Someone must be able to perform the basic functions associated with keeping a human being alive, and they have been stripped from us systematically. Do you understand that when the immigrants came into America, and the reason that unions were formed in America is because the immigrants came into this nation without any skill. They had nothing to offer America. They couldn't do anything, right? The Italians were great growers. They were great in gardening, right? But they were a late entry into America. And they would have been a lot more helpful in earlier periods in America, because America's history is, it's absolutely fascinating. One of the things that were killing them, and a real pivotal component of the Civil War, was oranges. The lack of oranges. It's absolutely amazing. Scurvy was the challenge. And this is why they were going and raiding people's farms. But when the immigrants came into America, they came with nothing. They came with nothing to offer. They came with no skills. Now, the people that had built the agricultural system that carried America into superpowerdom, the people that sustained the growth. See, when they came here, they couldn't grow the food. They didn't know anything about North America. They didn't know how to survive. And even after the natives taught them, they were too dumb, and they also couldn't take the sun or the seasons, and they didn't ever catch on. They couldn't grow their own food. This is why they went and got agricultural scientists, builders, all the rest. That's why they went and got them. Okay, so at the end of slavery, our people moved out from the South, right? There was an exodus, and you can see it. It's actually visible if you do your ancestry. You can see the epicenter where we came in, where we were concentrated, and then the dispersal, right? And so we moved out. And as we moved out, what happened was a very interesting thing. So the European, there was a point where the tan signified low brow. It signified a worker. You were in the fields, right? If you had a tan, it meant you were in the fields, right? So there was a connotation attached to farming and agriculture that Black people didn't want anymore, right? It was a horrible past. It was something they wanted to forget. And that's what happened. They forgot. They forgot farming. They forgot how to do those things that they had been doing all along. They were the ones that kept those plantations running. They were the ones that kept this economy running. They were the ones that caused the growth to happen. They were the ones that produced innovative farm equipment. The man that produces the tractor is not the one who is telling them to do the work. It's the one that was doing the work, right? They were the innovators. They were the ones that produced this. And over time, they slowly but surely lost the ability to be able to fend for themselves. When the Emancipation Proclamation happened, you would find groups of Black folk that would travel together, and they would stop in a given area, plant in that area, grow it to full harvest, harvest it, sell food off to the locals, have a feast, and keep it moving, right? And they would do this throughout the United States. They would stop, grow the food that they needed, and keep it pushing. And they were able to do this. Today, you can't grow your own food. Today, you have no idea how to filter your own water. Today, you can't produce your own power. Today, you can't build lean-tos and different shelter methods. Today, you can't do that. You can't can your own food. You can't exist without white supremacy today. And that was the trick. The instruments of our oppression are our essential needs. It is primal. So when your leader leaps off the lofty goals and complex plans that do not have a functional end or a specific goal, when they leap off to these lofty plans but overlook the very basic things required for a human to survive, then your leaders are leading you into slavery. Marcus Garvey said any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. So if your leader is telling you that building a school is the answer, are they depending on that enemy for water? Are they just counting on the fact that white supremacy will be there and solvent to provide all that they need for them to be able to get their education and then do what? What are you going to do with your illustrious education that they provided you, that you owe them for? What are you going to do with it? What? Sue them in their court using their law, using the words that they produced and co-opted and designed to work against you? What are you going to do with your education? Huh? So again, we have a lot of hustlers, lot of hustlers that are trying to make their living off of you. What do? I do my damnedest to ensure that my every effort is not spent in support of white supremacy. That is not as easy as you think. People live their entire lives. Generations of our families have lived and died, and not one single effort, not one effort in their lives did anything other than make white supremacy stronger. That wasn't their intent. That's not what they set out to do. But based on the way that this system is designed, that's what happened. Every goal that you have in mind, white supremacy is standing back saying, yeah, that's good, awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, buy a house, awesome. Open a business, yes. Do black business, black-owned business, they love it. You see the money that's out there, man, they'll give you loans, they'll give you grants. Do you know why? Look, and you look at our people, our greatest minds are out there speaking about financial literacy and credit. Do you know what the other side of credit is? It's debt. You know what debt is? It's slavery. So I'm supposed to show off how much I'm indebted to white supremacy as a means of showing you success. That equals success in our minds. That white supremacy has me by my toe. That's success. They got us so twisted up that, again, we don't recognize and we can't see that our every single effort is used to make white supremacy stronger. So as I said, I spend my time trying to diminish my support of white supremacy. And that is not an easy thing. That is not an easy thing. If you asked me for $100, right? I can give you the $100, but guess what? I'm supporting white supremacy because what you're gonna do is you're gonna spend that $100 with white supremacy. You're gonna give it right back to them. If you gotta pay a bill, it's going to them. If you go buy some food, it's going to them. Anything that you do with it, it's going right back to them. If they give us reparations, what's gonna happen? It's going back to them, right? So I have tried and tried my entire life to find ways to spend minutes. I don't have lofty goals. I want to spend minutes of my life not supporting white supremacy. And any minute that I can squeeze away, I will. And so what do? Again, I buy black. Y'all must have seen my toilet paper stacked to the ceiling, my soap, right, stacked to the ceiling. I buy black, right? I'm gonna do that till I'm gone, period, right? I will do my damnedest to do without it if I can't find a black vendor, or I'll make it my damn self, right? If I can't find somebody that looks like me that's making it, one way or another, we gonna make that, right? But what I do is take my every penny. We create partnerships at the Ledge Group. We create partnerships on the continent, and we vet those relationships to ensure that we can trust our affiliates. And I'm quite confident in saying, while there have been two or three people, or two or three relationships where they went completely left. I have their information. I could go to the State Department in the countries where they are, and I could make their lives absolute hell, right? I don't choose to do that. There are those maybe three individuals who have taken a bag and run. But I can say without any ambiguity, I can reflect in taxes that I've sent over $1 million into Africa, and I can account for every single penny. And what that has done is it has siphoned from the white community their capital, and it sent it in a way and to a place where they can never benefit from it again. Who will benefit? My progeny into the future. The Ledge members' children into the future will benefit. Those things that we build now, those businesses that we build now, those bridges and roads projects that I'm focused on now, the production of eco-friendly building methods that we are working on right now, the agricultural efforts that we build right this minute are not designed to produce money. They're not. I never began what I am doing now to produce money. I make money, right? I make money. I'm good. I didn't do it to produce money. I did it to produce freedom, to produce that end goal, to produce that end statement that says, and then we will no longer be dependent. And then we will no longer be dependent. If that sentence, if your goal cannot culminate in that small sentence, then your goal is short-sighted. It must culminate in freedom for your generations and for your progeny into the future, or you are wasting time as an agent and a proponent of white supremacy, period. It must end in a permanent solution. So what do? We build the economies. We build the reality that we need. I could have repatriated many years ago. I could have moved anywhere on the planet Earth that I want. I could now, right? I work from home. This pandemic has not changed anything that I do. Not one little bit has changed in my life based on this pandemic. I've been working from home for 20 years, right? So I could be in Bora Bora working if I chose. Doesn't matter. I could be in Jamaica. I could be anywhere in the world working, right? All I need is access, internet access, green screen, microphones, lighting. That's all I need, right? And I can do that. That is not the way that you can go anywhere. The way that you go is you build it to accommodate. See, a lot of our people go into Africa, they repatriate. And again, they live in a way that I like to call colonizer dark, right? Where they go and they build big walls and they stay behind those walls and they interact very minimally with the locals, right? Only as much as they need to. And they are outsiders in those areas. And eventually that'll become unsustainable. Eventually, a crisis point will be reached in that model because it's unsustainable. That is not how we should go back into Africa. In fact, it is counter to the way that we should go back into Africa because you come from a very proud and triumphant people. You come from the only people that can tell the true story. You came through fire and you temper steel through fire, right? So you are a very, very special people. It does not make sense for us to go anywhere on this planet Earth with our hat in our hand as if we didn't learn a lesson here, right? It does not make sense that we should go anywhere. And I don't care where you go. I don't care if you want to go to Central America, we can find a way. I don't care if you want to go to Haiti, we can find you a way and we can secure your way. I don't care if you want to go to South America, we can get you there. I don't care if you want to go to Australia, anywhere on the planet Earth where there are African people, where there are native people. We can build a partnership and we can find a way. I suggest to you, however, that I will not guide anyone around me to go in anywhere with their hat in their hand. You come from a proud people. That's not how to do it. The way to do it is you build in unison with those people. You give them a vested interest, a share in the building. You ensure that each and every mouth is fed, that every plate has food. And if you do that, you don't have to worry about the security of your properties and your investments over there, because the people have a vested interest in ensuring that it succeeds. They are just as vested as you are in the success of that endeavor. So the way to go anywhere on this planet Earth is with the sum total of the intelligence that was accumulated over the last 400 years. I say intelligence, like the Central Intelligence Agency. You've seen a lot. You know a lot. You have come through a lot. You do not abandon what it is that you've come through. It's a foolish man that fails to benefit from his own mistakes, right? It's a foolish man that fails to benefit from his own mistakes. So it is important that we take the intelligence gathered over the last 500 years and we make intelligent and efficient moves throughout the planet Earth. So again, I extricate money from white supremacy. I take it out of their hands and I put it into the hands of those whom I have vetted, who I have looked eye to eye, who I can trust. And I have them build according to their suggestions, their direction, and according to the intelligence that we have gained. We partner those things together and we build. This is how we were able to put a tow truck in a population where there's 1 million people and there has never been a tow truck. Intelligence on this side and on that side. Intelligence, right? It is to be able to see ground level across the planet Earth and build the solutions that will produce the economies for the future. It is, man, I'm so sad. I sent hundreds of bamboo seeds to one of my executive directors because he's going to Angola in the next month or so. I sent hundreds of bamboo seeds. Prior, I got millions of seeds. I've ordered millions of bamboo seeds and I've brought them all over the world. The post office confiscated my seeds. They confiscated my bamboo seeds. These were the black asper bamboo. Why was I going to send black asper bamboo into Africa? Because if it is planted in a staggered manner and propagated correctly, it produces nutrition, economy, and capacity for 1,000 years, right? It drinks the water and it solves the problem of flooding. It is a fantastic, next to hemp, bamboo, whew, it is an amazing, amazing product, and they confiscated my seeds. But again, this is how I'm looking to mark time. In thousands of years of capacity, in 1,000 years from now, little black children will be born and they will need breakfast on Tuesday morning. How do we make their plate? That is how we need to think. The circumstances that we live under today were not put into place by these chuckleheads that you see today. They were put in place by men 400 years ago that would never live to see the impact of what they did, and yet they did it. So you are not dealing with an apples to apples. You're not dealing with a cause and effect that is happening directly in front of your eyes. The cause was put into place 400 years ago, and the effect is what you are living with right now. So in order for us to reverse or to permanently solve the problem, that faces 100% of us. We must have the resolve that looks 1,000 years into the future, just like they did when they built the pyramids. You must have a long-term vision on the generations that are to come, and you must build a solution that accommodates them, and you work backwards. So the foundation of our building goes 10 feet down straight into the ground and is covered with rocks that'll never go anywhere. 1,000 years from now, what we have built will be standing. Those things that we put into place will be serving our children. So again, as I said, I try to find and steal minutes of my life away from white supremacy, knowing that if I fail, I will pay white supremacy to die here. Knowing that if I fail, I will have to pay white supremacy to get sick and die here. I know that. So I try to steal minutes of my life away from white supremacy, away from being an agent of white supremacy, away from being a proponent of white supremacy, as we are so tricked into being every single day of our existence. The one way that I was able to find to do that is the Ledge Group. We built it to produce that, to come together under the primary banner of Ubuntu. I am because we are. We are focused on a solution that permanently solves the problem for 100 of our seeds infinitively and into infinity. Never again should our children lives, existence, and solvency be predicated upon how somebody else feels about your baby. Never again should your child's ability to flourish in the future be tied to the success or failure of our enemy. Never again. And so there's only one way to do that. We build our own. We build our own. It's not enough to just circulate money into the Black community. It is to take and extricate it from the white one. And it is to build our own. I used to work with men that came from El Salvador and Nicaragua. And when they came, they would come and work for 2 years. And they would save every single penny, and they worked 80 hours a week, and they wore the same clothes, and they only ate at the restaurant, and they never spent a penny, and they lived 32 in a house. And it was all from this same little community from El Salvador. And each of them came to work for 2 years, and they would take their money and they would send it back to their family. And their family were building palaces. Their family were building palaces. Their family were building forever while they were siphoning money from white supremacy. And we had the nerve to laugh at those people when they actually had a plan and executed their plan and now live in palaces and forever is assured for them in their lands. They don't have to change their children's names or language or give up their lands or names. They don't have to do those things. They don't have to make the compromises that we have taken for granted every single day because they came with a plan and they executed their plan. Well, we have to have a plan and we have to execute the plan. It is not new. It is exactly what Malcolm X was saying. Malcolm X passed talking about, listen to your leaders today. They're taking names like ADOS, right? They're taking names and calling themselves different things per chance to get a bigger paycheck from massa, right? They're taking these different names. Okay. What Malcolm said was that what you call an African American is also found in South America because that's America too. So that's an African American too. But when you divide yourself into these tiny little groups and you say, oh, you're not woke like me, and you don't call yourself this, and you don't wear this funny little fucking hat, and you don't do these things, and you whittle yourself down into these little groups, you are so weak that there is no challenge. No one ever even needs to consider you. You are too small and too weak to do anything because you whittled yourself down into these little groups. But when you broaden your scope, you realize that it was horrible for our brothers in Costa Rica. It was horrible in Central America for our people. It was horrible in South America. It wasn't the exact same, but it was horrible. Horrible when you look up some of the stories of what was done to our people there. So it is not the oppression Olympics. It's not the pain Olympics between you and your brothers and sisters throughout the planet Earth. It is to recognize that we have a common and specific enemy. And that common and specific enemy is named dependency. Dependency on any other man leads you to slavery. They must necessarily have contempt for you. They must have contempt for you if you are completely dependent upon them and making no moves to diminish that dependency at all. So again, I hear your hustlers. I see them talk. And you notice you ain't never seen me on no panel, on no debates. I'm not gonna do that. It's not worth my time. It is not worth my energy. It would be better spent simply addressing individuals, right? And doing quick little short videos like this to express some of this logic. At the end of the day, what is important, and I'll close with this, is that none of this is my opinion. It's not my opinion. These things have been stated, they have been taught, they have been watched, they have been lived. I have relayed to you history. I have relayed to you the teachings of our greatest teachers and our greatest leaders. That is what I have relayed to you. I have distilled for you what it is that Marcus said, what he was doing, what he was trying to do, what it was that Malcolm was trying to do, right? These are the things that I have done. This is not my opinion. I've not shared my opinion. Right? I've not shared my perspective, my philosophy, my ideology. These things do not matter. What matters is the common and consistent challenge that exists in 100% of our lives, and then defining what is the appropriate and permanent solution. That is what matters. Nothing else. Is it common between us all? What are the challenges? What do we need? You define the instruments of your oppression, and once you have done that, you can actually take steps to diminish your dependency and finally your oppression. But there is only one way. There is only one way. You can't educate your way out of this. You can't pray your way or vote your way or march your way. You can't cry your way or die your way out of this. There's one way. We build our way out with intelligence. As I'd mentioned, with the intelligence gathered for eons and culminated in you. You are your ancestors. Doesn't matter what you like. You are, right? And so at that level, you have a responsibility, and your responsibility is to move this forward. My words resonate. They hurt. They sting. A lot of the truth stings. It's not supposed to feel good. It's not my job, right? The truth stings, but it resonates nonetheless. You know when you hear the truth, it resonates. You know what you need to do, and no one else on the planet Earth can do it. Everybody else still believes the American dream. They're coming here. They come here in tears, crying to get here, crying to be America's slaves. They're not any different slave than you. They're no different than you. You think the Hungarians, the Irish, the Italians, the Portuguese, you think all these Eastern Europeans and all these Germans and all of these people that came into America, you think they're not slaves? The truth is they don't know it. That's all. But they gave up their names, their land, their languages, everything that defines a human being to be a part of this melting pot, where you could not extricate your contributions to it, right? That's what they did. And again, just like you, they're dependent for water, for food, for clothing, for shelter, for economy, for education. They're dependent just like you. The only difference is you know how this happened. You can point to 400 years ago and define how you get to this place where people are signing up. See, they had to take my family's name with whips and lashes. They had to use chains. They had to breed. They had to castrate. They had to maim and torture them. And these little bitches come in and just give it up willingly. They come in because they want to. They came for a dream that is actually a nightmare. You know the truth. You know the truth. So here's what happens. When ours know the truth, the first thing that they want to do is they want to go run and tell the white man, look, I know some truth, right? And they want the white man to put a camera up. Oh, he knows some truth. He's woke. We love him, right? Right. But the truth is supposed to make you free, right? We're supposed to be focused on freedom. And so if somebody can come to the side and offer me anything and I get swayed, then my focus wasn't true. Freedom is the goal. It was the goal of 1,048,576 members of my family over the last 20 generations. It was the goal of 100% of your family over the last 20 generations. So now we've traded that gold for 30 pieces of silver, and we now exchange it for comfort under white supremacy and hatred versus freedom from them. And this is the dynamic that we're caught in. This is where your leaders are stuck. And your leaders won't move from that. They are comfortable in the position that they are. They're getting paid, right? They're comfortable. So they have sold you out. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. 100% of your leaders, go through them. I don't care who it is you love. Go through them. Go through your political leaders. Go through your talkers, your lawyers, all of them. Your journalists, go through them all. No one is beyond scrutiny. No one. Scrutinize me. Everyone should be scrutinized. But if they are teaching you to depend upon another man, I don't call that man an enemy. Not if he's providing your water. You better shut up. Shit. If he's providing your water, shut your mouth and learn to filter your own water. Call the alligator a big mouth after you done crossed the river, right? So I'm not going to call that man the enemy. The enemy is dependency on that man. You understand? The enemy is dependency on him, not him. Because as soon as you control all of your own, you ain't caring about what that man is doing. You ain't caring about what that man is saying. Let him consume himself. Let the virus eat itself. See, you starve the beast and the beast will die. You keep feeding the beast because the beast feeds you. So you think somehow there is a solution there, but there isn't. You starve the beast. So we take our energy away. We take our pennies away. We divest from their economy. We divest from their society entirely. Every single thing that I can take away from them, I do. And I put it somewhere where it benefits us. I may not live long enough to see utopia. I may not. I may not live long enough to see, and I won't. It's assured. I will never live to see the full results of what it is that we have done here, the Ledge Group, what it is that we have launched. I will never live to know its full impact. I am proud to see millions of people drinking water today, right? Based on our efforts. I'm proud to see the impact that we've had on the planet, to see the smiles of our sisters and brothers and children all over the planet Earth and see hope in our people. I'm very proud of that effort. We got a lot further to go, right? There's a lot more that we got to do. But again, with a clearly defined set instruments of oppression, there's a roadmap. We know what we have to do. We know what we have to have. Doesn't matter where we go. Doesn't matter if we were on Mars. What are we going to need in order to be able to survive? They're finite, right? It is a fixed number of things that are required. And so if we can solve those problems now and for the foreseeable future, well, that is wealth, right? That is wealth, to be able to assure life over a protracted period of time into the future. That's wealth, right? Not the things that they have diverted your attention and told you are. Life is the greatest value that there is. Therefore, the second most valuable thing must be water, because it's the first thing that you'll need to sustain life. Therefore, the second most valuable thing will be your food. And so they're using a hierarchy of needs. You can define what are those things that are most valuable to a human being, or really any species on the planet Earth. With that definition, it provides a forward plan. It gives you marching orders. What do you need to do? So you hear my brothers with the bravado. We need an army. Well, again, you've heard me say it. If you can't feed an army, you can't have an army. If you don't, if you can't arm an army, you ain't got no army. If your army requires health care from your enemy, then you don't have an army. There must be specific essentials in place before any of your plans can come true, any of your leaders. So here's what I ask you to do. Here's what I ask you to do. Don't like me. I don't need your likes. Don't subscribe to me. I don't need none of that. Go ask your leaders and measure your leaders against the words that I have said here tonight, against Malcolm X, against Marcus Garvey. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Go to any of your leaders and ask them what their plan is to provide basic primal needs that keeps a being alive. What is their plan? Is it to count on white supremacy, or is it to do something like a man? Which? Me, I'm chasing that manhood. You understand? I'm chasing more minutes of my life that are not dedicated to making white supremacy stronger. And no one else has a responsibility to do that. No one else has a vested interest in that but me. So I spend that time. I will not give my life to white supremacy. I will not simply go quietly. And I suggest you don't either. You wanna build? Find me. You can't join the Ledge group just directly. You would have to first join the Grand Rising. Find the Grand Rising group on Facebook. You can join that when you get in. If security allows you, then look around, ask questions. You're in with members, you're in with people that are waiting to become members. Look around, ask questions, look in the file section. You'll find everything that we've done. Everything. I never delete anything. Everything is transparent. The good, the bad, the ugly, it's all there. Go through, look at it, read it, understand what it takes to join us, understand and manage and ask me questions to manage the expectation. You want to work on the permanent solution with me? You are welcome. You will never support me. I pay my own bills. I don't need anything from anybody. You will not ever pay me. You will never give me anything. You will never buy anything from me. You can lock arms with me and we can walk together. That's what we can do. Okay. So again, I didn't mean to spend all the wind that I did, but I wanted to quickly just, kind of level set and reach out and touch the people. So again, peace, health, wellness on your houses, vitality and longevity in your lives. Hydrate, drink good, clean water as much as you possibly can, beyond 64 ounces per day. Get your superpowers up, go out and get that vitamin D. Don't wear glasses. Vitamin D is absorbed through the eyes, right? Open your eyes. Don't look directly at the sunlight like the woke. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Stand before yourself naked and love what you see. And again, peace. Peace and power. Ubuntu.